These are two of my favourite nutrient-packed breakfasts that you can meal prep, and they're going to set you up for a great day. I've been having overnight oats for too long now, so it's time for a change. Let's get cooking. First, we're making a sweet potato breakfast hash with an edamame guacamole. Start by dicing your sweet potatoes into bite-sized chunks. Drizzle over olive oil and season with salt, pepper, and some fragrant ground cumin. Roast these for about 20 minutes or until golden and soft. Next, we've got a few other veggies to add more fibre and vitamins to this delicious breakfast. Starting with 1 diced onion. Then I've got this beautiful long red pepper, which I'm going to dice. You can use a spoon to simply scrape out the seeds like I've done here. These are the veggies that came in my veg box, so I thought I may as well use them for this breakfast, but you can use any veggies that you have on hand. Frozen vegetables also work really well in this breakfast hash. Just make sure to really cook them down so that you get rid of all the moisture content. Next, I've got some courgette, which I'm going to dice to a similar size as the other veggies so that everything cooks evenly. Into a medium frying pan, I'm going to heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Add in all your veggies and saute until they start to caramelize beautifully. For the seasonings, I'm going to add some smoked paprika, ground coriander, and some dried oregano. And then I'm also going to add some spicy chipotle paste to give it a nice kick. For even more fibre and some protein, I'm going to add a can of black beans, followed by some frozen sweet corn, which actually has a surprising amount of protein at 3.2 grams per 100 grams. I'm also adding 1 diced tomato, but if you want your hash to stay a bit crispier or drier, feel free to leave this out. And then we're going to add the final veggie, which of course is going to be some greens. I'm going to go for some spinach here. Mix that through and let it wilt. We'll then add the golden roast sweet potato and stir that through as well. So that is your sweet potato breakfast hash done. Give it a taste and season it to your liking. We're now going to make a edamame guacamole, which is packed with lime and coriander. Start by soaking your edamame beans in boiling water for about 5 minutes. Then prepare some fresh coriander simply by chopping it. If you don't like coriander, feel free to use chives or parsley, they'll work fine as well. Once your edamame beans are defrosted, they can go into a food processor. And then we're going to add in some of the fresh coriander, olive oil, water, and some seasoning. I'm also adding a good squeeze of lime juice. You could use lemon juice as well if you didn't have any lime. Blend this until it turns into a paste. It won't be completely smooth, but do your best while scraping down the sides of the food processor. You could use a blender, but you may need to add slightly more liquid. So this is roughly the texture you're looking for. You can have it just like this, or you can add some extra avocado for those healthy monosaturated fats, and it's also high in soluble fibre. Edamame beans have a whopping 11 grams of protein per 100 grams, so this is a great way to start your day. They're also particularly rich in antioxidants and fibre. I like to add the avocado after it's blended so it's a little bit more chunky, but feel free to just blend it in if you'd like to. I'm also going to season this with a few chili flakes. You could add red onion, garlic, diced tomatoes, but since the breakfast hash is already packed with veggies, I'm going to keep it quite simple and fresh. Now you can serve up your Mexican style breakfast hash with a good dollop of edamame guacamole and a slice of lime. This is a great dish to meal prep, as when the potatoes cool, it increases the resistant starch in them, which can help with blood sugar control and your gut health. In order to keep the guacamole nice and fresh and green, I like to cover it with a layer of olive oil and then place cling film on top, followed by the lid. You can also put a layer of water on top and then simply pour it off when you're ready to eat it. Really nice. Let's have a bit of the edamame guacamole. Adds a really nice freshness to it. This breakfast is a great way to kickstart your day with loads of nutrients. We've got lots of different colours here. Sweet potato, red pepper, courgette, sweet corn, spinach, just so much nutrients in here. And a good bit of protein from the beans, the edamame beans and the black beans. So definitely give this a go and let me know what you think. My next favourite make-ahead breakfast is these classic British baked beans, just without the excessive sugar that is in the canned ones you can get in the supermarket. To start, we're just going to simply dice 1 white onion. Then I'm going to finely slice a couple leeks, which will caramelise into the bean sauce. These are a great source of vitamin A, vitamin K, and vitamin B6. They're also high in prebiotics, which feed your good gut bacteria. Just make sure to give them a good wash, as they can be quite muddy. And to finish the beans with a little bit of freshness, we're going to finely chop some fresh parsley. Also just going to quickly peel a couple of garlic cloves, which will zest into the beans later on. Making your own baked beans is definitely going to be superior to regular canned, as you can customize them to your liking with different vegetables and flavorings. Into a hot pan with olive oil, we're going to add the onion and leeks, and we're going to cook them until they're soft and starting to caramelize. And of course we're going to season with some salt and pepper. The salt is going to help draw out the moisture and help break down the leaves. Then we'll add in 2 cloves of zested garlic. I'm also going to add some dried herbs including oregano and thyme, and then a good dollop of tomato puree. Make sure to cook out the tomato puree before the next step to release its natural sweetness, as it can be quite bitter. Then we're going to either add passata or blended chopped tomatoes. You could also just add chopped tomatoes, but it'll leave you with a slightly chunkier sauce. Stir this in, and then we're going to add some flavorings, starting with some mustard for a little bit of heat. Then I've got some vegan Worcestershire sauce, which adds a really nice tang and acidity, but feel free to add some red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar if you can't find it. Classic baked beans have something like 20 grams of sugar in a can, which is absolutely bonkers, but I will just add a little drizzle of maple syrup to balance out the flavours, but definitely not 20 grams. Stir this through, and then we're going to add some butter beans. Classically haricot or navy beans are used, but you can use any really, such as cannellini, pinto, or any that you've got on hand. To finish the beans, simmer for a couple minutes and then throw in some fresh parsley, season to taste, and you are good to go. Serve up your beans on some crusty sourdough or any bread that you've got. Recently I've been getting into sourdough baking, so I've got a nice 50% wholemeal bread here, which is going to go perfectly with the beans. I like to serve it up with some kale, which I drizzle with lemon juice, and the vitamin C in the lemon juice actually helps with the absorption of iron, so that's always a good idea. I'm also going to add some of this homemade sort of vegan parmesan crumb, which I made in a recent video where I made a nice gut-friendly lasagna, and I'll link that video above. You'll never want to eat canned baked beans after trying this. It's so good. Delicious. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to check out this one for some more plant-based goodness.